What it do, peeps? Next on Watch the Damn Tape, we're going to get into Cheryl Miller's appearance on the Up and Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Hit that like, that share, that subscribe button. Hit that bell to get notified when I drop my next video. Welcome new subscribers. I hope you enjoy the show. Old subscribers, thank you for continuing to push me to make this content. Let's get into Cheryl Miller. This is a small clip from the Up and Smoke podcast. Cheryl Miller was on it. Stayed on there for a while. Talked about a bunch of topics, but right out the gate, she wanted to address what she called Caitlin Clark haters. Take a listen.
I'm going to be honest because it needs to be said. I can relate to that young lady, and I felt for her. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. Mm-hmm. And people just having, she brought some on herself a little bit because she's cocky for a good reason. Mm-hmm. And I love that about her. But to watch the dynamics and the media, they had their narrative. Mm-hmm. And I was pleased and proud to see the narrative wasn't the truth.
Right.
And Angel and her got along so well, and watching them practice. And yeah, just get it. And Caitlin's like, just fly. And watching her pass. And I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version. Thinker, defensively, a lot better than I thought and gave her credit for. So watching her and just spending a little time. And one thing, guys, that I've learned is to step back and let these kids be themselves. Look, I speak when I'm spoken to. I'm not sitting up there knocking on anybody's door, offering my advice because I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be social media, Instagram this. I don't know what it's like to be bombarded and have to be the breadwinner in the family and be a brand and be worried about what I do or say and everything else, or 24/7 being pulled in so many different directions and not knowing. Throw in the fact that if I'm insecure, if I've got my own mental issues going on, who do I talk to? I don't regret being born when I was.
Right.
Now, in that clip, the first thing that Cheryl Miller is old school. And Cheryl Miller is basically running that same playbook that Michael Irvin ran in the video I talked about probably like 2 months ago. Cheryl Miller playing both sides of the fence. She's trying to praise Caitlin Clark and admonish Caitlin Clark to a certain degree, but all the while still trying to appease the sisters. The haters that she's addressing are black women. Let's just keep it a buck. But she didn't want to harshly criticize them. So she just went the sweet Annie route. The sweet Annie route doesn't work. It never works. Ask Monique when she told women to stop wearing bonnets. What happened to Monique? They tried to counsel Monique. They didn't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear this. So she says she admires Caitlin Clark for what she went through. And she says she can relate to it because of what she went through as a black woman. Right when she said that, I knew she was finna go into some BS. Straight to the victimhood. Then she came back and she said she wasn't hated. She was despised. It was both. Cheryl, stop. Come on, Cheryl. If you're gonna speak the truth about what went on with Caitlin Clark basically got racially profiled by this league. I respect Charles Barkley for one thing. When Charles Barkley spoke about Caitlin Clark early, was one of the first people that said, hey, this is y'all's golden goose and y'all are going to screw it up. He said that early before the season even started. Charles Barkley was already singing her praises. And people were getting on Charles Barkley for that. Cheryl Miller, all she did was take a line from Charles Barkley and then flip it. Then she said this. She praised her, said that, she went through some stuff. And then she said she brought some of it on herself. She lost me there again. I was like, good grief, lady. If you gonna keep it a buck, you said you were being honest. No, you're bullshitting. Let's just call it ace a ace and spade a spade. Caitlin Clark, and then she said because she's cocky, but she's cocky for a good reason. And she said she liked her cockiness. So, Angel Reese gets, and then she kept bringing Angel Reese into it, and she kept trying to make it seem like they're best friends. Angel Reese goes out of her way to take digs at Caitlin Clark, has done it since the season went. When the season started, she was taking digs. When the season ended, she was taking digs. She still takes digs at Caitlin Clark. What the hell are you talking about? Come on, Cheryl. I mean, Cheryl, if you gonna say the truth, then she went into saying that it was a media narrative. That was where she got the Michael Irvin School of Business. They tell half truths. Yes, the media spun the racial component and made it the Magic Johnson. The league was complicit in it, but she didn't go after the league. You didn't go after Kathy Engelbert. You didn't go after the WNBA about the narrative. Then she mentioned something about, how she went into some psychobabble. It was like a word salad where she started talking about mental anguish that a person would go through having to be the breadwinner, and she's never had that. Had nothing to do with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark don't have no pressure of being the breadwinner. Cheryl, what are you talking about? But you're addressing the haters. She said Steven Jackson. At that one point, Steven Jackson asked her. He asked. You have to watch the full video. I'll put the link in the description. After she goes on that soliloquy about Angel Reese and her coaching them and all that, and how they were buddy and motivating each other, Steven Jackson asked her. There was a lot of hate coming from your peers, and he specifically said from your peers. He's specifically talking about, we all know Cheryl Swoops and other media members, her peers. Cheryl Miller works for a network. She's got peers. Those are her contemporaries. She dodged that question so smooth. She went into some psychobabble, and then she said something to the effect of, I know I'm going to get in trouble for this. Cheryl, I may ask, who are you going to get in trouble by? You just said that you don't subscribe to social media and you're not a people pleaser. But yet the whole video, you were pleasing the sisters. And Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes both knew it. And they both sat there like some simps and just let her keep on talking. And she said, women can be petty and short-sighted. That's what she says in the clip. When you watch the whole video, you'll see it. She says, they don't realize that everybody, that basically Caitlin Clark has brought the attention. That's what Steven Jackson was asking her about. How can they not give her her credit for the game and what she's brought as far as the eyes to the game? And that's when she said women can be petty and short-sighted. And then she went into saying that they got to realize that everybody's got a seat at the table. And she specifically said the high marquee players, the high status players, I hope they know this opportunity. She's telling them without telling them, without being harsh and being direct. And one thing about life, that church method of talking to the, you want to specifically spread your message to everybody in the sanctuary. It's only one person that need that message, And Cheryl Miller missed the mark. She knew there was one group of people that needed that message. You didn't address. She didn't address nothing. She played it on the media. Didn't address none of the foolishness that went on in the league with the fouls, the flagrant fouls, the stuff in the playoffs with the eye gouge with Dejanay. She glossed all over all that, and all she did was want to say to them, "Y'all got a seat at the table. We should be nice." She missed the mark. It was a half-ass checking of Clark haters. It was a half-ass message to the women of the WNBA. And I think all it's going to do is incite them to do more stupid stuff. If they don't put rules in place that light these wallets up in the of these ladies, and they need to light the wallets up and light them up good and clean this game up. It wouldn't surprise me. A lockout would be a great thing. To just not see the crap play and the over being physical play. But I would encourage y'all to watch that full video. Like I said again, I'll leave the link in the description. And until next time, folks, peace.